Hello and welcome back to the Tower Yoga Podcast. I'm here with another interview from our last round of teacher training. And I'm here with Skyler today. And I'm really, really excited for this episode. I always tell Skyler he's my little bro. I don't have a brother, so you're my honorary brother. Usually, we've been doing these episodes with anchor buddies, so people who were assigned and paired together to be like check-in or accountability buddies through the whole yoga teacher training experience. Sam was your anchor buddy, and she is unfortunately not available to do the podcast. However, she is someone who is now teaching at Tower Yoga. She's actually this month, at the time of this recording, it's August. She's August's teacher highlight or spotlight, and she has some regular classes on the schedule, so you can go and look her up and all that good stuff. But yeah, so we'll just focus on you today, Skylar, and I'll just kind of turn it over to you if you want to share anything about yourself, anything you want the listeners to know before we dive into the interview.
Okay. Well, first of all, I just want to say thank you for inviting me to be on the podcast. I feel like this year, in particularly, yoga has just like really transformed my life through like the teacher training. And I don't know, I'm just glad to be able to like share my opportunity and my experience that I had through my teacher training with you. So, and everybody else who's listening. So it's exciting.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah. Happy to be here.
Same.
All right. Well, I always start these with the same question. What initially drew you to sign up for the 200-hour yoga teacher training? I mean, I personally know, but obviously we're not here just for me. We're here for everyone. So, yeah, was there a specific moment or did it feel like a calling for a while?
I feel like not this year, but last year, I had really dedicated myself into yoga and trying something like new. And when I was little, I'd always be like, oh, I want to be a yoga instructor on a cruise ship. I had no experience in yoga. I didn't even really know what yoga actually was. I just seen people doing postures and working out. And I'm like, oh, that looks cool. I could travel the world, do all this, like, and as I gotten older, I went to college and life just kind of like yoga never happened really for me. Like I had traveled and I went to Costa Rica and Thailand and I had done yoga a couple of times like on those trips and it was kind of the eye opener for me and like the entry to get into yoga, but I had never really found somewhere where I like practiced like on a routine and regularly. And then one of my neighbors at the time, I always see him leaving his apartment with the yoga mat. And one day I just popped out and asked him, and he happens to be one of the teachers at Tower Yoga. And he was like, oh, I actually teach at a studio. You should come by and try it. And I was like, okay, yeah. And I was shy, but one day I was like, I'm just gonna sign up and go for it. Because he's like, oh, well, we offer a free week if you want to sign up. And you can really get a chance and a feel for the studio in like that week if you really dedicate and go to the classes. And I was like, okay, so I just one day I was like, you know what? I need something different. I need to make a change in my life. Why don't I just sign up for yoga? And so then I signed up for the free week. I went to Jameson's class. It was my first class at the Lotus Room. And I literally like we were in Shavasana at the end of the class and I just like started like crying. It was just like such like an awakening moment for me. And so I I continued every day to go to the classes until my week was over. And by the end of the week, I was like, okay, there's like a no-brainer. Like, this is doing something for me. I didn't know what it was yet. And ever since then, I feel like for a year, I was very consistent at Tower Yoga, 3 to 4 times a week, in between the hot room and the lotus room. I kind of like to switch it up. And then they had like the teacher training. Some of the people from the previous training were popping in the classes and they were kind of talking or like yeah, we're in teacher training and I would just kind of hear them talk amongst themselves and I was like I was just curious about it and so and then you guys have kind of been advertising it and like the deadline's coming, the deadline's coming. And I'm like, am I gonna regret if I don't do this? Like something had just like been calling to me. And I was like, you know what? I just took the chance and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna sign up for it. I'm probably like gonna take a lot away from it, but I don't even know like what I'm really looking for. And so I just took the opportunity and I signed up and I'm like, well, I can only gain something from this experience. So I just went for it and I'm so happy I did. So,
That's like such a beautiful attitude to go into something with, especially if, you aren't exactly sure, like you're just kind of answering something like deep within. And really that was like your, you know, inner child being like, "Let's go." I feel like, like not like never that spark was continued to stay lit in your heart for this like yoga teacher cruise ship vibe. And maybe that will happen someday. Maybe it's a whole different version. Who knows? Maybe you don't even want to do a cruise now, but
right.
there was something there like that never actually like that flame never actually like went out, even if
hmm
you didn't have a chance to like figure that out until you got back into your, well, not back, but you just got into a practice, like a regular practice.
Yeah.
And
And
then
like,
yeah.
I don't know, I just feel like I've grown so much over the past year that I first started just regularly going. It had really changed like a lot inside me, how I like seen things differently, like just the world, my perspective on myself and others. And then like going through the training, it's like a whole different way I see it from the year before. You know what I mean? But in a good way.
Yeah, totally. And like even before teacher training, just you as like a regular student, I really feel like I noticed you like opening up. Like you were like transforming, and it was more of like a energetic thing. It's not even like outwardly there was like that much different going on, although maybe you would like interact with me a little bit more than like when I first like you first started coming to class, you know?
Yeah.
But really it was something that like was a felt thing where I was like, this person is like transforming or shedding, or there's like something going on. It was a really like felt thing, especially as like I'm so and as you know, teaching some classes which we'll get into, it's such an honor to be able to witness people, especially people who come like week after week. And no, maybe we don't know all the intimate details of what people are going through. Some people share a little bit more, it just naturally happens, but you see these people for like multiple hours a week, so
Right.
it's hard to not like notice those like even really subtle things. And I definitely noticed that. So when you were kind of saying that you were interested in teacher training, I wasn't surprised, but there was like a little back and forth. And then finally, when you're like, I'm doing it, like I think you told me you'd already talked to Jameson or whatever. And I was like, yay.
Yeah, I feel like I was just like a little bit hesitant because, like, I'm trying to really get like my career like going as well. And then like doing a yoga training, I was like scared I wasn't gonna like dedicate myself enough to it. But I feel like I didn't realize almost how big of a passion and like a love I've had like for yoga. And I feel like it's a passion I felt like I've really no never felt before towards like something. And I feel like I honestly almost didn't even realize that until I taught my first class. Like at the end of my first class at the Lotus Room, I literally cried when I was telling everybody like thank you. Like I was just like it was just such a beautiful opportunity and I feel like it really like I don't know, I feel like the training didn't even feel complete until I taught that class.
Hmm.
And like I feel like it really brought everything together and like it was kind of like a aha moment for me at the
Hmm.
very end. And like I don't know, so many people were like, I was so nervous to teach my first class. Like, if you ask me how my first class went, I feel like I blacked out. I just taught it and like I can't even really remember. Like, I tried to get off the mat. I never left the mat. I was just like stuck, like going through it. Like, I was just so scared. I was like gonna mess up, and I did, but it was not even a big deal. Like, I
I
feel
mess up
like the
every time I teach.
I feel like the only person that really noticed was like me because I'm like, oh, I forgot this move, you know what I mean? The
Yeah, you
sequence that
forget
had
that the whole class hasn't memorized the sequence that you made up.
right. And so I just like kept going and then afterwards so many people had came up to me like you did such a great job. Like I really enjoyed your class. Like it was challenging, it was fun. Like, you know what I mean? People came up and told me like different things, and I was like, wow, like I don't know. I didn't expect after teaching my first class for people to like come up to me and like tell me these things, you know?
I
So,
think even more, I mean, yes, in teacher training, Jameson and Farron and I, like, all were like, show up prepared for your students, like, on time, know what you're doing, know your why, like, all these kinds of things. But at the same time, too, there's so much about the heart, and like that is felt and that shows through. So if you show up with, like, a pure heart,
yeah.
and trying, I think that there's a lot of like room for grace from students or anyone if that heart is like what is like leading the way. So that, no question, is something that you lead with on and off the mat. If I do say so myself. Do you believe in past lives? Or is that something that you think about?
Yeah, I feel like lately I've actually been thinking about that a lot, which is kind of crazy that you bring that up because like I I feel like lately I've really been trying to like I don't know, like understand why things happen, and like lately I'm like, I feel like I'm really living in the life I'm supposed to be and like fulfilling all the needs that I've never met in my past lives in this life.
Yeah.
And I don't know, it's like I feel like once I really started like living for myself and like doing the things that like are meant for me instead of like what other people like wanted for me, like I feel like my life has gone in a direction like it's like completely like transformed my life. Like actually living for myself, doing the things that I want, the things that make me feel good, and just being like authentically myself. And I just feel like other people feel that energy of me being authentically myself. But I feel like I've like drawn so many great people into my life within like the past year that like I don't know, I just feel like I'm just creating like this life and it's like just the beginning.
That's, yeah, beautiful. Yeah, I guess I just ask because that's so curious to me that, like, as a little kid, when you weren't, I'm assuming you weren't exposed to it or anything like that, that you just had this idea, I want to be a yoga teacher on a cruise trip. Like that, those are all just like cute little details like in your mind. Like there was something there that your kid brain could only understand. And what I think is like adventure, um, I don't know, like exposure, culture, yeah, like a spiritual richness. And I think traveling for me is like such a spiritual thing, and
Yeah,
getting outside of what you think, like life is. There's something like so beautiful about that. But as a little kid, you don't have all that in your brain, but you're like a cruise and it gets you here and you can see things, and it's like already
right,
as a little kid you knew the world was so much bigger than like what you were living in, and there
right.
was a
Like
yearning there already, and with yoga specifically. And so I wonder, when kids or anyone has this like really big desire to do something without exactly knowing why, I just like to thought experiment it out and go, I wonder if in a past life like they had been exposed to it already, or maybe you were like a yogi in your past life, and like who knows. And obviously like I have no way to sit here and like prove it and all that kind of stuff, but yeah, so that's why I asked that.
yeah.
Well, we kind of, you sort of touched on this, and I actually think it's a great thing to get into. Is you said that your your experience of yoga obviously changed when you practiced that first year very consistently, and then it changed again when you, after you did teacher training and you're still practicing consistently. There's no way that you do like a deeper dive in the practice and then not have it completely like change the way that you're experiencing it. So looking back, I wonder like what's the biggest thing, or even just like how has your understanding really shifted or evolved from when you started the training?
The first day of training, we like Jameson made us like teach to our partners the first day, and it was like the scariest thing. And it was like probably the easiest thing. We were kind of gonna learn the whole teacher yoga training, and just like that itself was like terrifying. And just like I feel like the teacher yoga training really like pushed me outside of my comfort zones in a good way. Like, not to where I was ever like super uncomfortable, but it's to like the edge I needed to be like pushed and like to build that confidence in myself because like I was literally like a PE teacher at like a school and I felt like I never like really truly taught. I feel like I mean, I went through my teacher credential program through COVID, and so everything I had learned was online. And once I got into like the actual classroom of like teaching, I felt like I never like felt that like aha moment, like I'm a teacher, even though I was a teacher.
Hmm.
And then, life like changed its course. Like I was no longer a element or a middle school teacher, and then like I went into like nursing, and like I'd always said like, oh, I'm if like teaching doesn't work out, I'm gonna go into like the medical field. And now that like I'm in nursing and like really enjoying what I'm doing, like maybe I just wasn't meant to be a teacher at like that grade level, working like with kids. Like, yes, I enjoyed it. I learned a lot from it, but like the teaching that I learned from the teacher yoga like training, just like was such a different experience. And at the end, I had felt a confidence I had never felt in myself before. And like I said, after like teaching my first class, like, excuse me, I didn't really like believe I could do it until I taught that first class. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like I did it, and everybody, I had like, such good like feedback and like reviews. And I'm like, wow, like this is something I'm actually like very passionate about. And I am like, I can actually do it. And like, everybody's like, well, when's your next class gonna be? And like people kept asking me over the next couple of weeks. And I'm like, well, I don't know. Like I have no idea where this is gonna take me. And then I just started doing like little pop-ups in the park of like whoever wants to come. I just posted on like on my social media, send it out to friends, and like I've actually had a good little following of like people. I feel like the thought of teaching that I had before of like, oh, it's so scary, like I don't feel confident in myself. I feel like now I'm like, I'm learning. I'm not going to be a perfect teacher right off the bat. I look at you, Farron, Jameson, how that I've been teaching for years. And you guys always told us like we've been teaching for how many years and are like sometimes like we don't teach a perfect class. Like a perfect class doesn't exist. Something's always like sometimes you forget one movement or one side and like, but who's really there to like you're the only one that really knows because you're the one teaching. Like the people are there to like come to your class like because they enjoy it, like they want to practice yoga and just like I was like, oh well, I don't have to be perfect. I think I had this expectation of like, oh, I need to be a perfect teacher. I need to like have my sequence like down to a T. Like obviously I come to my classes like prepared, like things like happen, I don't know, and just like sometimes like you forget a side and it's not the end of the world. It's okay. People like they come because they want to practice yoga. You
Yeah,
know
or
what I
someone's
mean?
like, "Oh, we didn't do the other side." Like that just happened to me yesterday and I was like, "Thanks, let's do it."
Right. Like I was te teaching at the park and then like obviously it's a park, it's not open, it's a public place. All these like men came to play soccer and then so it's like, the last 10 minutes of my class was like a little distracting, but like whatever, like we got through and everybody had like a good time. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
like I don't know, like life is life and life is happening all around us and like I feel like sometimes we just like get so stuck of like being perfect as like human beings, but like nobody's perfect. So like we need to like give everybody grace. And now it's I think a big thing that I also learned in teacher training is grace. Like I feel like we kind of instilled that the first weekend and it's stuck with me ever since of giving myself grace. Like I'm human, I'm gonna make mistakes. I'm probably never gonna be perfect. Yeah, I can work to where I want to be, but there's always ways to improve yourself and like get better.
Yes.
And I feel like that's like a big thing of like, forgive yourself, be patient with yourself. Don't be so hard on yourself because like we're all learning in like this experience of like life and it's okay.
Completely. That's such a good, like, insight to take away, and that is something that we consciously tried to, like, open up the first weekend because it's like, we need grace, we'll give you grace, give yourself grace, give each other grace, especially because it's a whole group of people coming together. You're spending a lot of time together, and we don't know everyone and what everyone, like, believes or knows or how they are with personal space or whatever, like, social cues, all kinds of things, so I think just, like, instilling that, like, right away, and we all kind of, like, made an agreement, like, we all were like, "Okay, yeah, we're all on board for this," and that also means give each other grace. I should say, like, doesn't mean that we don't, like, call each other, like, out or in or, like, whatever else, or, like, there's no room to, like, challenge anything, but, yeah, that I think that in, like, a contentious kind of, like, time and world, it's easy to feel like just, like, everything's a fight, and we do need to fight for a lot of things, but I think that's, like, the really quick go-to, and in an environment like that, in a vulnerable, like, learning space, I think the softer, kind of, like, more gentle and just copious amounts of, like, grace is good, and a lot of hard conversations and topics and things that like that came up, and I was just constantly astonished by the beauty of how everyone was holding each other and yeah, the forgiveness people are giving themselves and everyone and each other. It was really special. Yeah, it was super special. Okay, so another thing that we've been doing is like checking in with your anchor buddy was Sam. As we said, she's not going to be on this episode, but she was your anchor buddy, accountability buddy. And if there was like a takeaway or a key takeaway from her, or just something that like just tickled you, if there was something like funny or just something you noticed, or was there anything just through sharing with her through that entire experience and that accountability buddy thing, is there something that you kind of carried with you after the training that you either learned from her or just even like felt inspired by from her?
I feel like, yeah, I feel like honestly, Sam was like the perfect anchor buddy to have. Like, just her, like, kindness and like just her personality, just being around her. She's just like this little ball of like light and energy and like just like I don't know, just a genuinely sweet person. And I feel like after the training was like over, we've continued to like, kind of like check in with each other and like I've like tried to make I seen that she was like on the schedule at Tower Yoga. So I've like made efforts to like go to her classes and like seeing her teach like in like the hot studio and like leading like a full class at like 8 p.m. and just like I don't know, I feel like it was really inspiring to me and I was like, okay, like my anchor buddy's out here teaching like in the studio, she's like doing great, like and just seeing how people came up to her after class like, man, that was a great class and I'm like, ah, you killed it, and just to like see like each other like succeed and like we never thought like I feel like Sam was also very shy and like reserved during training as well, but to see her really come out of like her light and be living up to like her potential just makes me so happy because like I knew that she could do it and I knew that she knew she could do it, but just to like really see her out here doing it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I'm just so proud and I feel like we've like just like continued to support each other even though like the training's over. Like I've really made like a genuine friend within Sam that's like just outside, you know what I mean, the training. And so I feel like that's like another like beautiful thing.
Yeah, anchor buddies are like bonded after,
Hmm.
I think. So that's awesome. And yeah, yeah, like I said before too, like Sam's teaching here. She's on the schedule, so you can look her up. Those of you who are listening. And also, we will make sure that we include your Instagram when we share about the podcast and all that kind of stuff. And so people can follow you and maybe jump into a park session with you. And the weather's about to slowly start getting a little bit nicer, even. So that'll be awesome.
Yeah.
Before I let you go, I do want to ask you some rapid fire questions. I kind of do a few silly questions at the end of these interviews that you don't even have to like overthink too much or anything like that, just like whatever comes to your mind.
Okay.
Okay, if your yoga mat had a nickname, if it doesn't already, what would it be?
Maybe Greenie because I have a green towel, have a green mat. My middle name's Green. I don't know. Green is like part of my personality. And the way my eyes are green, I don't
They
know.
are. You have gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous eyes. I'm like, I get lost in them. And you also love frogs.
I do.
Yeah. Okay. Perfect. That's great for you. Okay. Have you ever snored in Shavasana?
100%. I like have caught myself multiple times snoring in Shavasana.
I was like, be honest. I was going to out you if you didn't say it, but
No, 100% have.
okay. So, what is your go-to like after yoga snack?
Honestly, probably like an iced coffee. I feel like I'm enjoy doing yoga in the mornings, set the mood for my day. So then afterwards, like a little coffee is my go-to.
I know, like a lotus room session and then like going to component for like a little iced coffee situation. Love,
Yes.
love.
Perfect start to
We've
the
actually
morning.
done that together before, I think.
Yes.
That's amazing. Okay, well, thank you for your time. Thank you for sharing your story. And really, honestly, it's just such a pleasure to know you. And I've loved getting to know you. I loved every second of sharing space and time with you through training. I almost wish we could just like do it all over again. That's how much I
Right.
enjoy your energy and your presence. But yeah, just good luck to you on your whole journey. And I'll keep following, of course. But thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Have
Bye.
a good day. Bye.
You too. Bye bye.